Nothing beats Mother Nature, and that includes your teeth. Some people are pretty comfortable taking them out, like, oh, I got a little bit of sensitivity. Take out the tooth. We'll put in an implant. We'll put on a bridge. We'll put on a crown. Or, no, not a crown. Uh, Something else, whatever. Uh, but maybe you should take some time and figure out if you can save the tooth. So today we'll be talking about prosthesis, basically fake teeth or false teeth, as most locals call it. False locals. But yeah, we'll be talking about some of the limitations, drawbacks, and challenges with having prosthesis, like a denture, implant, or a crown. So we'll get straight to it. My name is Craig.
And my name is Surprise.
Damn, that was very robotic.
Today.
It's his feeling stiff.
Oh yeah, today we're going into detail, I'm joking.
Oh yeah, it's his field. My boy will be going into his department today. But yeah, let's get started.
Can you shut up?
So prosthesis, what type of prosthesis do we get?
We have dentures. Those are the removable ones. They were very common back in the day. Everybody's mama and grandma had some, and some people, young people also did, but it's not very common with young people these days. We have implants, the new baby in the block. Not that new, but like it's starting to be more affordable for a whole lot of people. And we have bridges. Those come in multiple forms as well. There's like zirconia bridge. There's like what's the one you just did today?
Fiber bridge.
There's a fiber bridge and whatnot. There's like metal, zirconia. I think I've already said that. Ceramic.
Yeah.
But basically, there's many ways to skin this cat, and yeah, we'll just be talking about a couple of those. And all of this work when there's tooth loss. You've lost a tooth.
Okay. But I think the best way to start this discussion is to say, preserve your natural teeth. Preserve your natural teeth. Preserve your natural teeth times infinity. Preserve your natural teeth. I mean, sometimes you can't. Car accident, you get into a fight, or you get robbed. Yeah, then you can't, right?
Or if you were too broke at that point.
Exactly. But if you can afford, like I said, if you can afford Gucci shoes, you can afford an implant, my friend.
This man hates branded clothes. Like in every video, he's roasting Gucci, Louis V.
I don't.
He's like,
He told me. I don't.
hating from outside of the club, brokey. And fuck.
Before that, you can't even get it.
That's like, what's wrong with Louis V?
Okay, you can buy yourself an, oh man, what can you, but you can buy yourself so many things. If you can afford those things, like just invest in like a good, like prosthesis, right? Or try preserve your natural tooth, like really do. Yeah, you might come in and they might tell you a root canal and a post and core and all that. But trust me, it's worth it. It's worth it because I do this work, right? I do this
This is
work.
the one time you want to keep it.
I do this work.
It was an abortion joke. Keeping it.
Ha.
Yes, but go on.
Yeah, thank you. Comedic relief, I was feeling robotic. But yeah, I do this work. And one of the things you come across is that sometimes you do the most beautiful bridge, the most beautiful crown, the most beautiful anything. But a couple of weeks later, a year later, that same beautiful work you've done has broken. Like it's broken. It's crazy. And you're sitting there like, what? How do we get you? And obviously, when we do the work, we always like give you a consent form. But it sucks when that stuff happens, right? But even with that in mind, still do try and maintain those natural teeth. I'd say, especially in your aesthetic area, try go the extra mile for those teeth because replicating natural aesthetics is very, very difficult. And we might do something like an implant, but like getting an implant to look like the tooth next door and make it look natural is one of the hardest things you can imagine. And it's like, there's that thing called the shield technique where they like take like a piece of your tooth and keep it there and put an implant in front so that they can just maintain how your teeth look. So there's all these techniques so that teeth look natural, because getting teeth to look natural is very difficult. So I'd say that's the first thing. My preamble is just preserve your natural teeth. But dentures, I'll start by dentures. Do you know anything about dentures?
Do I know anything about dentures?
Yeah.
Uh,
They're plastic.
Yeah,
They come out.
yeah.
They
Do I know anything about dentures? Where did you think I got my dental degree?
no, like what do you have? What input can you provide about jaws?
Okay, it's like I've been too quiet. Well, dentures are beautiful, firstly. The one thing that, sucks for most people is that you have to take them off when you sleep. Otherwise, there will be some consequences. And taking it off is not always the most easiest of things. Like, it's very easy to do, but picture this, I feel like we're always talking about relationships, but she's spending the night over for the first time, and it's time to sleep. From the kind of, oh, wait a minute, baby, I gotta put these teeth away.
Yeah.
It's not always that. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just a little awkward sometimes.
Yeah, it's a bit awkward.
Not that I would know, but I imagine it would be.
But I think you get used to it, but it's still awkward.
Yeah.
And another thing is, one of the downsides to dentures, besides taking them out, is that they don't preserve bone, right?
Yeah.
And we always talk about bone, like, yo, why are you guys so like into bone? You're so bony.
Well, because you need the bone
Yeah,
to preserve your facial structure.
exactly,
And if
exactly.
you're gonna get an implant, you will need the bone.
Exactly. And bone is like your denture is supported by bone. So if you come in for a denture today and we will talk about like, oh, your bone levels are low, it means that there's not enough support for that denture. So that denture has nothing to hold on. So bone is like,
It will be loose.
it's very
Katek.
critical for any prosthesis we're going to do. And the downside about dentures is that they don't maintain bone. So what happens is bone is like a muscle. If there's nothing on it, it starts to disappear. If you don't use it, you lose it. That's what happens with bone. So if you've ever lost a tooth, or if you've lost a tooth and you notice that area starts to feel a bit thinner and thinner and thinner, it is getting thinner. So one of the things that happens to bone when there's nothing loading the bone, like an implant, it starts to just resolve. That's the word. The shrink is the word. It starts to shrink, and left long enough with shrinkage, eventually it starts to become difficult to put something onto it. And when you put something, it starts to become difficult to match the aesthetics. So what that means is that if you have lost a front tooth, get it replaced ASAP. If you want to do an implant, do it ASAP so that that bone doesn't get lost. Yeah.
And the downside, again, for dentures is food.
Yeah.
You will still be able to chew, but, interesting enough, you don't just taste from your tongue. Like, oh, he's got a great palate. He's got a palate for food. Your palate is also part. I shouted that. Your palate is also part. It helps with your tasting. It helps with like sensing the temperature. Like when you have like a soft cake and it melts in your mouth. Thinking about that cake. It will be melting onto plastic because the top denture covers almost your entire palate. So when you're eating, it'll just feel like you're chewing with plastic. Even though your tongue is fully exposed, you just won't enjoy your meal the same way.
And like sommeliers, so these are the guys who taste wine, also utilize their palate. So yeah, if you're a sommelier, don't get a denture.
Yeah. And did you know that beer is like one of the South Africa's favorite drink because it refreshes your palate with like the temperature that we have. So like whenever you're having like a beer, food just goes down. Or like beer in your main froko, beer, manina, beer. Like you get what I mean. Like you need the palate.
The palate is very important, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's with dentures. And another thing is, because of the bone moving, every 5 to 10 years, you're gonna have to get a new set of dentures. So you get a set of dentures today, it looks amazing, it feels beautiful, and 5 years later, it feels like this thing is loose.
Because the bone shrunk.
The bone shrunk.
Yeah.
Pros-
And
yeah.
Also, when you remove your teeth, so like the root of your teeth has these ligaments. They call like periodontal ligaments. They help you like when you're having like popcorn or like food, and there's like a little stone that shouldn't be there. You get to sense it almost immediately. That is because of those. It's called proprioception. And if you remove a tooth, even if you put an implant in there, you do lose that sixth sense in your mouth of like the texture, the hardness of your food. I am talking about food. I'm not hungry, but like it's very important. The mouth is very important for like eating, and if you can't enjoy food, that just sucks.
That
You
just
know, so
sucks.
it's not an experience worth having. Surely you could remove all your teeth, get them replaced, but it's a lot harder to maintain false teeth or fake teeth than natural teeth. So if you are struggling maintaining your natural teeth, best believe prosthesis will just be a hassle.
Yeah.
Because you'll still have to floss in
Mhm.
between. If you don't, you'll lose gum level. They'll recede, they'll start looking weird. Bacteria accumulates around the edges of those. So
So there's this thing people will say, let's remove all my teeth and put dentures. Now, sounds good. Even if you're doing like those fixed dentures, we call them all on four and all on six. Like, wow, you've got a beautiful smile. But I'll tell you, like we see the work, it ages. And when it starts to age, it gets peri-implantitis. So around the implants themselves, there's an infection and the denture starts to become loose. Now, all on six is how much? 200,000 rands.
that's a car.
Yeah, 200,000 rands. So bear that in mind. Like if you want to take out all your teeth and you want fixed implants, be willing to shell out 200,000 rands minimum. This can go to 500,000. And remember, it doesn't last forever. 200,000 to 500,000, that's going to be replaced in 15 years. And on the topic of implants are great. I love implants. Like I adore implants. I think they are the next level of dentistry. But they also have downsides. Like, you know that thing when you chew on food, proprioception, there's no proprioception. Another cool thing your tooth does is that when you are chewing, it kind of bounces, like recoils, you know, so that, you know, the force is minimized. An implant doesn't do that. So it's rigid, it's fused to the bone. And just like all things on Mother Earth, they don't last forever, you know, and sometimes they start to become loose. Like, you know, you drill a screw into a wall, it starts to become loose. And that's what happens. So every time you have a prosthesis, just remember, you can't beat Mother Nature.
Yeah. And there's also the option of a dental bridge.
Mhm.
So there's no screwing into bone there. But to get a bridge working, you must sacrifice two other teeth just to replace one. So essentially, the neighboring teeth in between that gap, you have to shave, and then you have to shave just to replace the one. And again, in 15 years, when that falls off, you have now three compromised teeth, like the one that you lost and those neighboring ones. It's just like, is it worth it?
Is it worth it? You know, 'cause-
Sacrificing two for one.
And-
And if there's no other option, definitely you gotta go for it. But it just doesn't sound like the math isn't mathing,
indeed,
you know, if you have a choice.
if you have a choice, and what he's saying is true. In dentistry, we always deal with these situations, like even a simple cavity, for example. When we do a cavity, yes, we're closing the hole, but like we are also kicking down the can of further damage, you know, because that cavity becomes a bigger filling, you know, which becomes a bigger filling and becomes a root canal. And then after a root canal, you've got a crown. So it's this whole like spiral will go down. But in cases where you've got no teeth and an implant doesn't work, or you can't afford an implant, what can you do? A bridge.
bridge.
A bridge. So I'm not saying it's bad. I mean, if it's the only option you have, then go for it. But just understand that there are downsides to the work.
Mhm.
There are downsides, like also it doesn't preserve bone as well.
Mhm.
So that thing we talked about where the bone goes up happens with bridges as well. So make sure that you understand these things when you do your prosthesis.
Exactly. So with like technology advancing, like there's even those robotic arms that you can get for like amputees and everything. Those arms are so cool, really cool. Like I've seen the technology, like they can even link it to your nerves and whatnot, and you can control it even a little bit. Might even feel like RoboCop, like a superpower, like becoming an android in real life. They are super cool. But would you cut off your arm? No, I
Yes.
wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah.
Like, so like think twice before amputating your tooth. It doesn't grow back. You're not a shark.
Indeed, indeed. And let's say you've lost a tooth. I mean, there are all these options you can explore. But when you explore them, the key thing to know is that Mother Nature can't be beat. And this creation is like, it's really like we cannot emulate what is produced in the mouth. We cannot. We get closer and closer, but I don't think we'll get there. It's just, it's so well built, so well built.
Yeah, there is new research coming up with them trying to improve the proprioception where the prosthesis will have like some sensory feedback. But again, it's it's still in the works and it definitely just can't beat
And
nature.
regrowing teeth again.
Regrowing teeth.
Yeah.
The Chinese people are going to save the world once.
So that's a technology that's coming. So hopefully that will solve so many of the challenges we face. The ability to regrow teeth, the ability to reverse cavities. Like I'm hoping, and I know people think, oh, we're gonna lose our jobs. No, we're not. We're not. In fact, we'll just do more fun stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there'll always be people going toothless every day. So dentists will always have work to do. Like we said, car accidents, uh, genetics, like we're talking about gum disease. Some people will always have that. But if you have the option, if you have the choice, you've gone for like a normal cleaning, the dentist is like, you have a cavity. This tooth is a little mobile. You have a gum disease. Go to those appointments, see them through, save your teeth. Because although you could get them replaced, well, the whole video with just the
whole
So
video.
like, yeah, we'll keep going around in circles. But in short, believe us, it's not worth it. Save your tooth, and only if you've tried it all and it's failed, then we can get the cool stuff. We can do the cool work. But yeah,
Save those natural teeth.
save those natural teeth.
Whoa.